Hey guys, YouTuber 100 here. Alright, and now as I continue looking at these TV Halloween specials, now here I am with a review for one of the Rugrats Halloween episodes, Candy Bar Creep Show. So, yeah, this was a like Halloween special that I did watch a lot as a kid. Like, of course, as I've said a bunch of times before, I really did love Rugrats growing up, and so of course, like around like Halloween time, this episode would come on, and I would watch it a lot. And yeah, I do like the special. Or, well, I guess I really shouldn't say special because this really isn't really a special per se. This was really just like a regular episode because yeah, this wasn't like a full length special like the Christmas special was that I did this past December. Yeah, this was just like a regular 15-minute episode of the show. So yeah, but still it is like Halloween related. So yeah. So Rugrats did have like a few Halloween type specials throughout the series. Like it did have like Ghost Story, in which I do remember that one. Like that was like an episode where the babies were all like taking turns telling a ghost story and stuff. And yeah, there were also ones like Curse of the Werewolf, as well as a TPKF during the All Grown Up series, as well as like the book Trick for Treats. So yeah. So yeah, Rugrats did have like a few Halloween related episodes and tie-ins during its its run. And so, yeah, but this one has really been my favorite one because, yeah, this was just the one that I really did watch the most. It was just the one I really did really enjoy watching the most, yeah. So this was a very early episode in the series. This was only like the ninth episode on the show. So, yeah, it was a very early episode in the series, but yeah, it was still like a really good, and I did like it. I do like watching it. I mean, it is like a relatively simple premise for this episode. What it really is just um how it really is like the baby's like first like real Halloween, and they of course like really don't know much about it. And with Angelica telling the babies about Halloween and that the their parents are like given treats that are bars, which are like candy bars that have like that are like chocolate, and they also like have a like some type of green stuff inside of them that actually like makes people's tongues turn green. So yeah, and when Angelica explains it to the babies, the babies just want Reptar bars for themselves. And so yeah, what this episode really is about is just the babies trying to get Reptar bars, and it's really just down to that. I mean, so yeah, there's really not a whole lot to it with the net. But yeah, it is an enjoyable episode of the show. Yeah, because in this episode, like the parents like end up like building a haunted house outside, and so the trick or treaters go into it to get like their Reptar bars and stuff. And then yeah, then the episode then like ends up like well, in the episode, like the babies end up like going into the haunted house, and they end up like just scaring everybody, making like Angelica, Grandpa Lou, and yeah, all the trick or treaters really think that the house really is haunted. And in the end, like the babies end up getting like the Reptar bars and stuff. So yeah, so a relatively simple episode overall, but yeah, it is like a good episode, and I do like watching it still. Yeah, yeah, so there's really not a whole lot really else to say about it, but yeah, I would say that if you like Rugrats, I think that you would like this episode, and so I'm sure that probably most of you have seen this episode before, and so yeah, I don't really think that I really do need to recommend it because I'm sure, like I just said, if you have watched Rugrats, you've watched this episode. So yeah, but if by any chance that you haven't seen this episode, I do recommend giving it a watch because yeah, it is like pretty funny to see like what happens in it. So yeah, there's really not really a whole lot else other to it than that. It's just yeah, it's basically just about the babies trying to get the Reptar bars. Yeah, and of course, like this was like when the Reptar bars were like introduced into the show, like throughout the series. And it was like the Reptar bars would of course like be mentioned like like consistently throughout the series. And of course, like there were other like Reptar treats, like Reptar cereal and stuff that were like introduced throughout the series as well. This I guess this was just the start of like the Reptar bars really like becoming like popular in the show because yeah, like I said, throughout the series like they would be mentioned all the time throughout the series from this point. And so yeah, all right. So no, I really don't know what else I can really say about it. So yeah, I guess I'll just go through like the premise of this episode. So yeah, as I said, Halloween has come, and it starts off with just Dee Dee making a jack-o'-lantern right in front of Tommy. But then, yeah, then Angelica then like explains to them that it's Halloween because the babies all saw the adults setting up the haunted house outside, and as like everyone's dressed in costumes, the babies don't really understand what's going on. And Angelica explains to them that it's Halloween, and she talks about the candy, and she shows them the Reptar bars, which are the treats that the adults are going to be passing out. And then, as I said, like the Reptar bars contain some sort of green stuff that ends up turning the eater's tongue green. And so when Angelica then explains it to the Angelica, well, says that in order to get one, you have to go into the haunted house, and she just tells them that they're too young. But the babies, like, of course, like, do still want Reptar bars. But yeah, Dee Dee decides that the babies really shouldn't be coming into the haunted house because she just feels they're too young and they should really wait until next year to really come inside the haunted house. So yeah, Dee Dee decides that the babies really aren't ready for it, but Angelica can come in. Yeah. And that night, as there are trick or treaters coming to the haunted house, it shows that of course like the adults are all dressed up. It shows like a Dee Dee is dressed as like a vampire. Stu is the Frankenstein monster. Drew is like some sort of gorilla of some kind, and Grandpa Lou just has like this sort of like Halloween mask of some kind. Yeah, and then as the babies are like watching the trick or treaters go into the haunted house, they like hear like the kids screaming, and then they come running out with Reptar bars. And so after seeing that, the babies thought that in order to get the Reptar bars, they just had to scream. So they at first just screamed inside of the house, but Stu and Dee Dee just felt that they were screaming because they were scared of the trick or treaters, so they just shut the curtains. And so then Tommy then decided that they would actually have to go into the haunted house to scream to get the Reptar bars. So then the babies all then ended up sneaking out of the house and into the haunted house. House as the adults weren't looking. But then, yeah, once they got into the house, of course, like they were, or scared by its contents because inside the haunted house they had like eyeballs, which were just grapes, and then there was also a bowl of worms, which was of course just spaghetti, as well as a funhouse mirror inside of it too. So yeah, and yeah, the babies like ended up like being scared by that. But then, and as they were in the haunted house, there was a group of trick or treaters, which included Angelica, coming into the haunted house, and as they entered, like Phil and Lil like ended up like being their heads were like they had some spaghetti in their heads, and the trick or treaters just saw them through the funhouse mirror, and they got scared thinking that Phil and Lil were zombies. And then, yeah, a curtain from the haunted house ended up falling on Tommy, and everybody thought that Tommy was a ghost and got scared of that. And then, as Grandpa Lou came in, like, the kids ended up being scared of him at first, but as Grandpa Lou took off his mask, he ended up falling, and his mask ended up just landing right on top of Chucky. And, of course, like, Chucky was walking, but, like, the mask, of course, was over him. So, yeah, Grandpa Lou just, like, saw his mask moving, and he just thought that it was moving on its own. I guess kind of like a similar to Goosebumps with the haunted mask. Yeah. 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 And then And yeah, then just the trick or treaters and Grandpa Lou just ended up just fleeing from the haunted house, but the trick or treaters left their bags of candy behind, and then the babies then just saw the bags of candy, which also had Reptar bars on the ground. So then the babies just then ended up like taking the bags of candy back into the house. All of a sudden, yeah, Grandpa Lou and Angelica were then just saying that the house really was haunted, and they were talking about what they were seeing, but yeah, Stu and Drew like just really didn't think that it really was true. But then, yeah, they then just Lou then insisted that Stu and Drew who should go in there, and so then, and yeah, so then, yeah, Stu and Drew like were kind of like skeptical about going, and I guess they had a sneaking suspicion that maybe what Lou and Angelica were saying were true, and so they were then just like arguing about like who going first. Yeah, they were just having a talk about how they were going to go in, and then as that was going on, yeah, it showed then the babies then trying the Reptar bars, and then of course it made all their tongues green. And then as like Stu and Drew were just continuing to talk about how they were going to go in, it just like ended with Angelica constantly just screaming that she wants her Reptar bar, and yeah, then that's how it ended. Just like and to show like the trick or treaters walking around, and with them just continuing to talk and Angelica just continuing to shout that she wants her Reptar bar. So yeah, that's how it ended. So yeah, so as you can see, it is a pretty simple episode. Like I said, it's not a full length like the Christmas special, the Santa Experience was, but yeah, for like a regular episode, I think it is like a good type of Halloween episode. So yeah, so there's really not a whole lot to say. Like I was just saying, I mean, I would recommend it, but yeah, if you're watching Rugrats, you probably have already seen this, so I really don't think I have to. So yeah, like I said, this probably is my favorite Rugrats Halloween episode of the series. So yeah, there were just a few, but yeah, of the few there were, this one was probably definitely my favorite one. So yeah, so a pretty good special or pretty good episode, I would say overall. So yeah, I would recommend it. All right, so yeah, so I guess that's all I can really say about it. So yeah, this was kind of a shorter review. This has only gone on 12 minutes, but yeah, there's really not a whole lot to talk about. So yeah, it's just a pretty good episode out of like a Halloween type of episode. So yeah, all right. So I guess this is all I can really say about it. So yeah, so I guess this is my review of the Candy Bar Creep Show Halloween episode of Rugrats. So yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this review. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.